mean, one thing I always wonder,
Sorry?
one thing I always wonder in these kind of games is, do you actually use city states? Because city states can can get you out of a metalworking mess, but you give your opponent a card, and I don't know if that's what gave you clothing or if you already had clothing, but that's always my concern about using city states.
I got clothing. I think that the first or
With
second time, yeah,
yeah,
that I
when
used
you used metalworking, I think.
it popped up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So okay, so you had masonry and writing. Yeah, I
Don't
yeah.
guess
forget
we
to
have.
turn
And the
off.
last game we played, I I was behind in castles immediately, so here I was at least like, oh great, at least on the very first meld, I'm going to have some castles because
Mhm.
for some reason I keep, facing block with metalworking.
Don't forget to turn off the sound effects.
Ah, sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. And I had metalworking and mysticism, so metalworking was the obvious choice there. And then masonry came down. Well, great, he gets to draw a card, but I get to solidify my castle's lead and start working with metalworking.
Yeah, I mean here drawing is the obvious thing to do again. So you got the wheel, which is not bad.
Yeah, for one moment I thought, oh great, because I thought, well, if he doesn't have three more castles, I get to use the wheel. I'll be able to maybe,
Yeah.
get a ton of castles, use masonry, get monument. No, game
Okay.
ended real fast.
So metalworking, which of course it's also here you must have been happy block, I guess.
Yeah, he got clothing really fast.
So here,
So I play the wheel, try to block metalworking.
shouldn't you have drawn first and then?
Sorry, I had to step away. What's that?
No,
Should
I
I have
meant
drawn first before playing the
yeah,
wheel?
because like if you got something, even you could meld both masonry and the wheel. Sorry, we use
Oh yeah, good
masonry
point.
because you know he has clothing, so like you can hope to
I,
get.
I, right. When we're playing live, I often do not check the log and see what he drew.
No,
But that is
okay.
part of the reason I don't like playing live. But
Hmm.
it also I could just check the log, or I could just watch it live and see what comes up.
So yeah, because here you would have.
Could have done both. Yeah.
Yes, and then I mean I'm not entirely sure given what happened later. At one point was going to make a big huge difference, but so I mean it would have saved you one action. That's all.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And okay, so here block scores 2. Um, do you remember the cards block?
Um, Sailing, maybe? No, can't be sailing. Um, oh, it was I think domestication was one of them.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, why don't I try replaying on the back? Um, uh, uh, play my perspective. Okay, working.
Because later you shared metalworking. I just was curious how many castles were in your
I
score
scored
pile.
domestication and code of laws.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So then city states. So Colin, you were saying not sure what if this was um
Well, I mean,
if
especially against clothing, I'm about to give him another card.
mm, mm, mm.
I mean, I could have just played. writing as well, and then I have more castles and I have more colors on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have maybe done wheel here and seen what I drew, and then meld either a red if you got one or the blue.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I
It's
was
fun
kind of
having
happy.
played 3,000 games and still trying to, figure out a city states, like tweaking my city state strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of okay with giving you mysticism. I figured you just then start drawing a ton with wheel, and
Yeah.
clothing is certainly not being very effective with you having that many colors on the board, but I was hoping for something.
I
Um,
mean, mysticism can be annoying with the force, like if shared. But in this case, you had the good cards, so like probably you wouldn't do it. No,
right.
block.
Yeah, I would only do it if things started shutting down and I didn't have other options.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So maybe, I mean, yeah, with the wheel, yeah, there would be still two cards left. And then, yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's
maybe,
not
yeah,
the worst thing. I mean, if you meld writing, then I'm scoring at most one card each turn, with
yes,
clothing.
yeah. But,
Yeah. No, I'm rethinking how I use city states for sure.
what did you get here?
Um,
Not, I suspect not pottery.
no, pottery would have been very nice. I got sailing. Yeah, so that's
Same,
where
yeah,
sailing
same.
was.
That's it. So here you decide to go with metalworking.
Yeah, because I wanted to get to the twos and
Mm,
get some extra twos, and hopefully get a blue. Um, because just using clothing with metalworking was a little too slow.
mm-mm. I mean, you took a risk here, a little bit, in the sense that like could be like archery,
Well,
uh,
it's true. I did get
tools,
some.
tools. Is there one more? No, maybe it couldn't. If it was two at most, then yes. Like, did you consider if it was possible that they were both all three castles?
No, I didn't really stop to think. I thought we've
Uh,
seen a bunch already,
okay, okay. It's just
right? And so it can't
it
be that
should
many.
be okay.
Yeah, and right. So I thought like sharing metalworking here, like you might get something like writing, or I didn't know you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
writing, but there were a lot of cards that didn't have castles that we hadn't seen yet. Because my whole score pile is almost entirely castles.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so I figured that this way we get to the twos and
yeah,
I get some cards in my hand.
yeah. No, actually, it was safe because I think it was only tools and archery that were left, given the information you had. Okay, so tools, archery, then you get agriculture, and now you have calendar, which is pretty nice pick. And
Yeah,
you did you get fermenting as a
and I got
bonus?
fermenting, so I was pretty happy with that draw. I was like, great, more leaves,
Yeah.
and the color that I'm missing that could actually help me score. So
Yes, that was like, yeah. Now you got very big lead. And here, Colin, were you hoping to like
Hoping to get map making.
mm, yes, yeah, that would have helped. Um, so here you made construction.
yeah, I scored map making, I think, so I was happy with that.
Mm.
Yeah, same as last game. Like I think there's just a
So
few like, or even getting road building, or just there's a few ways to stop
yeah, like
clothing, and I
road
just couldn't
building
get
would
any of
have
them.
been nice.
Actually, correction. I scored currency and monotheism the first time, so it was later that I scored map making.
Yeah.
So here block, you use clothing, you get more points, clothing more points. So here 1 and 2 are basically gone. Yeah,
I mean,
this
that was really
stage.
the thing with fermenting.
Mm-mm.
I was like, okay, great. If I can, play writing and stop clothing, and maybe he doesn't have another way to score, but now you're about to have so many
Yeah,
cards and so many different options.
yeah. Here, like I understand you wanted to get Empire, but um, like I'm not entirely sure it's like that's not your problem. I think at this stage, like I wonder
What's not
if
my problem?
no, like yeah, of course you get 1 point, but you're giving him 1 card, and like that
With
point is
construction?
yes. Like I think like if I like I probably would have done the same, but I'm just wondering if like um getting more cards, getting
So
more
you're saying
cards and
do the wheel and maybe draw some threes, and if you're lucky, uh, get a blue three and put the three down, or maybe get
yeah, or math, I don't know. Was
um,
math gone?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I
But I
mean,
would just
anytime I
fermenting
have
and
a leaf deficit, I'm worried if I'm going to draw a bunch of cards that they're all going to go away with machinery.
Well, just I don't know.
mm,
Like I'm just saying, well, 1 point like the empire is not gonna save you at the end of this game. I'm afraid. So I was just um,
I could
given
have,
that.
yeah, I could have saved one action.
Yes, yeah. Again. I'm not saying like, oh, you do this and magically you win the game, but it's just like I have the impression there are some times when there is a situation like this, and I have masonry and construction, and I get both empire and monument, and still the game is a disaster because the other person in the meanwhile.
Oh yeah, no, I totally. When if I were in the other situation and I have an opportunity to get a whole bunch of numeric achievements and my opponent is wasting their time with Empire, I feel pretty good about myself. The goal here wasn't really to get Empire.
But so it was one move away, and then you say, okay, like why not? I guess, right? Like because here, I mean, melding writing. What did you get with this block? Do you know?
I'm going forward to it. Just a minute. Um, I got map making in my hand.
Oof.
Right. So I could have used the wheel and gotten map making and maybe done something with it.
Mm.
So I just
Yeah.
didn't have many crowns. It's a bad looking board.
Yeah. No, but maybe I'm just saying maybe like wheel first and writing later, or if you get something else. Um, I mean, I think this is like a desperate game. Like, not we are just trying to wonder how to salvage it in a theoretical sense. Like, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. I feel like navigation should be a 3. Like I think if you have to wait all the way to the 4s to the point where you can start affecting your opponent's score pile, because medicine doesn't help. Like
Yeah,
it's
medicine doesn't help. Yeah, if they kind of swap those two cards in the ages.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also at this point, Block is like drawing the whole deck more or less, like
right.
if he wants. So.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing when you got calendar and fermenting. It's like, oh, he's gonna have a ton of cards, and I can't do anything with machinery.
No, not so like. Yeah,
I don't think
I
I
mean,
got machine though in the end. I don't remember it.
yeah, I think you got it
I got
with
it.
optics later. So I mean, now you got optics, and I guess the idea was like no use for metalworking now. So like let's cover the only card that is not a leaf, doesn't have leaves.
I, I played optics because I thought he would do mysticism and get engineering and wipe out
Mm-hmm.
metalworking and fermenting and I figured okay, well at least optics I can like keep having a way to score somehow.
Yes,
Happens. Yeah.
yeah, you were.
Oh, and I was worried about what was I worried about as something with crowns. I couldn't have been map making because I had that in my hand, but something else I was worried about.
I mean,
Um,
eventually, yeah, I'm trying to get navigation and catch up somewhat.
But the
mhm.
tragic thing about this game, if Block wanted, he could even meld map making and get some points.
Right. I know.
It's true. I didn't think of that.
Like that's the tragedy of this game.
Well,
Um,
this is, I mean, I've won so many games with clothing and metalworking. It's a really nice opening combo.
yeah, 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 no, definitely.
Exactly this reason.
Okay, so this stage, Colin, did you do mysticism? I don't remember. Yes. So you got engineering,
Engineering, as I was afraid of, yeah.
yeah, and like getting rid of fermenting is a very sensible thing to do. And now block starts. Did you finally achieve something, or I don't remember?
I
Oh no, you
think
use
I did
optics
optics
first.
first because I was like, okay, we've seen a lot of the castles at this point on the three, so there must be a lot of crowns left. Because I think in my hand I had feudalism, and there was yeah, I had feudalism and education.
Okay, yeah,
And then there was engineering. So I was like, okay, good chances of getting something good.
yes,
Um,
Yeah,
and then
and
worst case, I give him a one, and then I achieve the
achieve,
one.
yeah,
And
yeah, and yeah, and now he even have medicine, so like you can steal whatever he gets.
yeah,
Um,
but here I achieve the one
yeah,
because optics
yeah,
again. I give him if it fails. I give him the fifth point.
yes. So you, Colin, you melt
yeah, and
alchemy.
part of this, I mean, I don't know if this was strategic or not, but I obviously have way too many castles. I assume that I'm going to draw a red here, but that allows me in a turn here to use mysticism and start covering my castles. But this is all just
And actually, I was thinking you could have used it again,
Right.
explode most likely, and then you rearrange everything the way you want it, and then you start using.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting because it's yeah, you basically get to rearrange the entire four pile. You concede two turns, but then you just can go wild with the fours, and I thought that was kind of fun and
yeah.
interesting.
But you were so close to four already at that point. That
Right.
that was my hope is that I could start messing with the four pile, but then you get to
Mm,
it in like two turns.
yeah, not like because also okay, there is a
Yeah.
small problem, but
So
now block has because of optics he will draw like remove some more force, I think. Oh, no, not here. Ah, no, because were you worried about like um because before machinery came out, like you could you couldn't really score the force because otherwise they would be stolen. once machinery came out, were you afraid that like he would steal your force from the hand? Was that or you thought that you were going to explode again and then it was not worth it?
Oh no, no, I, I, I mean, the odds are very poor that I draw four fours and I don't have, gunpowder in there.
No,
But
no,
yeah, I
that is
definitely,
no, that is true. But like on the
Then you
I
leave
mean,
cards for me to steal with
mm,
machinery. Yeah.
yeah,
mm.
no, it's
So
true. I guess at the point I could have tried to get to machinery first. It's just, I've played some games where I take that approach and I have seven cards in my hand trying to get to machinery first and then I don't, and they're all
yes,
gone.
So, I mean, engineering would kill machinery right away right now.
yeah. Problem is when you put mm,
Medicine back in.
medicine back. So yeah, like I don't know what's worse. It's a really terrible game. So you put sailing on. Was
So
this
now I'm
just
just
to
covering.
covering
Yeah,
castles so that alchemy has better chances? Is that
yeah.
So when you started on this track and then you put melded sailing, I thought, oh, you really returned things in some crazy thing because now you're gonna share sailing and cover optics and get something else good on your board. And
It
I
it
thought you had
eventually
kind of mastered.
happens. I mean, I eventually get coal out of this approach. It's just far too late.
mm. And here the idea was still to reduce the number of castles so that you had better chances with alchemy.
Well, and also just to have some scenario where I can start scoring with, well, just also to get some scenario where I have maybe statistics or I don't know, just try to get my Leafs back in balance.
Mm.
But,
Yeah,
maybe against a different opponent. But I was, this is all
no, like
desperation.
yes. Okay, so this also now more
Well,
more
optics, because
crowns.
I knew everything was gone.
Yeah,
Engineering,
yeah,
alchemy, machinery, and feudalism was in my hand. So
yeah.
Yeah.
it's free reign on optics.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, and just to add more things, if you wanted, you could even use education to go to six if you
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
doing it. I'm going to do
Um,
it again and more
yeah,
points.
I figured I kind of wanted to do paper, but I was like, if I just do optics again, then the fours are the next thing, and I'm getting more scores, so why not?
Like worst case, I get translation.
Yeah. This is why the idea of rearranging the four pile just never really mattered
Yeah,
because he
yeah,
was
yeah,
scoring fours like crazy.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so here you finally managed to get something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obvious choice at this stage because experimentation is
And I'm thinking, okay, great. Maybe there's a chance I can somehow get to five first. But
yes,
no.
except and then yeah, astronomy.
That one, I mean, I could have maybe avoided that if I would have rearranged the four pile differently.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
If I could have tried to just really, assume that you were going to have fantastic optics luck and, or
No,
not luck,
okay, like no, I'm
and
not saying I'm not saying you should have done that, but like, well,
yeah, and just try to bury all the crowns, because you were going to have this opportunity to have optics.
mm,
But
so
it wouldn't have even mattered. I
okay,
think
so
I'm going back to city states. Taking a different approach with city states might have mattered, but everything since then, I don't know.
yeah, I agree with was
Yeah. And the fact that I got Enterprise, I mean, that was just icing. I just wanted to get H4 at this point. I didn't care what the score was.
okay, and So you got H2 because you don't belong to the Smoku school of achievements. And
Because engineering kills machinery, and he would get H2 right away.
no,
I
but
realized
yes,
that. I was like, you haven't killed machinery yet, and that's
like
enough
not,
points to get H2. I better claim it while I have
yeah,
the
yeah.
chance. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I didn't really get my hopes up.
okay, so
So did you do astronomy here? What did you do first?
No, because
no,
I mean, yeah, I could get a 6, but the fives, call in chemistry. I feel
Hmm.
like you have I, maybe I could have gone 6.
can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, we lost you for a minute.
yeah, because I went to a room where I don't disturb anyone, but apparently the signal is a bit weaker. Let me see if I move myself if it gets stronger. So can you see it again?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
So so here you were hoping for call basically.
yeah.
Mm. And is it okay? You got physics instead, and not your lucky day. And then block achieves 4. And there are only 2 4s in the deck anyway.
Yeah.
So
So
you
count.
drew yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's sailing. You got
Now
call.
you're cool,
Yeah, still.
but you know, not nearly enough.
So now block does optics, gets even more points.
And I mean, that one was, that's like a mercy optics. I think optics was just like, all right, let's get out of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, optics, I was happy if I shared it because I had Reformation in my hand, so I could get Monument really easily.
Mm, yeah.
If and even if statistics like, started destroying my score pile, I'd be happy because I'd have Reformation.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also, fortunately, Colin didn't have enough leaves.
Well, and with societies, you could get rid of statistics anyway.
Yeah.
You had many options.
Yes, G5. And here you even had the 6 in hand because of the share. Because
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
when this happened, I didn't realize that because you scored the last 5, you already had a 6 for the share.
I know.
So I said, okay. And so I was
Not.
saying, like he is returning a 4 because this way optics cannot. And then, oops, he played industrialization. When did this happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was. Sometimes games go that way.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there were
But it's
maybe.
a quick game. This is what's. I mean, I used to play Game of Thrones or Diplomacy, and those games you can also make an error, or you can just have a card not turn out your way, and then the game goes on for 6 hours, and
Right.
whereas this, like, I was in deep trouble right away, and the game's over in 10 minutes. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right. Well,
thank you
hopefully
for
next
taking
time.
the time. Thank you for taking the time, and see you in the next one. And